Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we'll be checking out a track from an act named Levels, titled Café Amarillo. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. We're going to listen through it from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it. We'll just wait for the YouTubers now full screen thing to pass, and then we'll be on our way. Okay, I'm liking the sound of the guitars with the drums. There's a fullness to the tone of those of the strings. Oh, good! I'm liking the panning there. I thought it was going to be in the center field for most of it, and I was kind of concerned for a minute that we weren't exploring the stereo field. Great little charming lead voicing here, nice and chill, going alongside the 8ths and 16ths on the kit. Interesting tone to the snare. It's nicely filtered. Oh, a little bit of repeater use of delay on those guitars with a nice reverb tail on there. Great decay on that crash cymbal. There's a mid resonance there. There's a resonance in the mid frequencies, which I think is making the drums a little more subtle, but I also think they're going for a more acoustic tone, so I don't particularly mind it. There's like obvious, there's a pretty resonance in those higher frequencies there. Oh, a little bit of variation with the strumming rhythms in the center field. Hang on, I just want to confirm something really important. I just wanted to confirm that the name of the track was Café Amarillo. Café Yellow. Nice harmonies on top there. Works really well as a whole sort of a legato feel with some triplets going alongside the more sort of like that kind of flamenco kind of style on the guitar there, the rhythm in the center field. Really charming first impression to what these guys are all about, for sure. Really great way to start a new week, you know? Listening to music like this is really well played and well written and interesting and engaging to listen through. I suppose we're coming down from that bell curve now. More of the intensity in the center. Filtering out or fading out now. Oh yeah, that was absolutely charming. I've got all the time in the world for that, man. What a great instrumental. Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track, Café Amarillo by Levels. What do I think this track is about? I think if we go by the title of the track, it's about that kind of yellow cafe kind of vibe there, yellow coffee kind of vibe. It's got that sweetness to it, a sensation, a calm of peace, of tranquility there, which is really pleasant and to listen to. I'm having a great time with it, and I would love to hear more from this band, legitimately Levels. They've got something special going on. I think the sense of minimalism with the arrangement of the piece, you know, because we don't have a lead voicing here. I mean, to be fair, the guitar is a lead voice, and we don't have vocals or a singer. And I think that especially with the track that's under 3 minutes like this, even then you still don't want to take for granted that you're going to have the listener's attention the whole time. But we didn't have any issues with that whatsoever in this performance. Legitimately, we listened to Levels today, and I think personally that they had just the right amount of balance between, again, the lead voicings on the guitar alongside the rhythm, sort of more sort of intricate, quicker strumming, and the 16th and 8th note grooves along with some triplets occasionally, or some triplets on the rhythm section or the lead section to kind of counteract them. The overall kind of theme and vibe there was really pleasant and positive and happy, and it's really gentle. And I kind of enjoy it. Sometimes you can do music like this and it can come across as a little bit cheesy, a little bit sort of like overdone, or simultaneously underplayed, because it's like you know, making something sound good can often mean minimizing it a little bit, like in a positive kind of upbeat sort of good can often mean taking away complexity from the tone, the harmonies, or the emotion. You know what I mean? Like, but we kept some interesting triads here. We had occasional extensions in the harmony. We had really pleasant, easy to listen to melodies on those guitar parts that kind of sunk well in with everything else. The minimalism of not having too many different instruments in the track at any point allowed us to more easily appreciate, again, the equilibrium there from a compositional perspective. And it was just sensational from start to finish. There was an increase in energy towards the center, as I mentioned, with the bell curve, and then coming out at the end. It's like we went in, came out. And I think with a 3-minute track like this, especially an instrumental, it makes sense to do that. It's basically an ABA structure. And it's kind of like you walked into a place, had your fun, and then you're off to the next thing. And I think that's a really sensational sort of concept, because especially nowadays where a lot of the songs are playlisted, you know, you want people to come into your track and hear it and go, oh yeah, that's absolutely my vibe, you know, I want to hear more from them. You want to miss them. You want to be able to miss the musician when they're gone. And I think that people listening to this will appreciate the musicality of it, the performance of it, because there was a dynamic range and change perceived loudness to the performance. Clearly there's the musicians playing their instruments. Clearly they can play very proficiently, and they can also write well, and they can write in a way that makes having a lead vocalist or like a vocalist just redundant. They can make music that is interesting enough without that. So it's sensational effort on their part, and I've got lots of love for what Levels have managed to accomplish today with Café Amarillo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think that on top of the theme behind it, how it made me feel, the performance, the intricacy of those still looked like ghost notes on the drums with those 8th and 16th fills there, the lovely crash work there, but also the different sort of strumming rhythms and lead parts with the guitars. You also have to give a shout out to the recording, mixing and mastering, the production, because it was sensational there. I do like the tone of the guitars and the drums put together there. I think there was a little bit of a mid-resonance there, but I don't necessarily dislike it. I think that if you'd sort of sterilized and gotten rid of that, it would have been too clean sounding, and it would have removed a bit of the humanity from the performance. I think that it's good to have more of a live sort of sound to it, especially when everything else is as pristine as it is, because again, the tone of the drums and the guitar together, they were notched incredibly well on the frequency spectrum, and it was nice and wide in the stereo field, especially when those leads came in to sort of pan out on the sides. Initially I was like, oh, everything's kind of very much in the center field, but no, again, as the things sort of developed from there, it was almost like a deliberate decision to develop things sideways as opposed to upwards in intensity, and I kind of adore Levels for doing that. I think that's a very smart move. I think in addition to what we've got going on with the stereo field and a lack of other resonances in the frequency spectrum, the tracks, the different layers were nicely leveled. Again, they were notched well, so they didn't interact in a way that was negative, or you didn't have any side chaining with the drums or anything like that, which I think gave it a more organic sort of tone. And I think that genuinely it was nice and loud without pumping. There was dynamic range to performance as aforementioned, and it was just, again, it was a really well performed, well produced, well written track. That is effectively my review of Levels with their track Café Amarillo. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show this some love via the various social medias and your YouTube page, and stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.